Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In this video it's a review, and specifically it's a review of our 2004 Toyota Yaris. Although it isn't really ours anymore, it's quite sad because we've had it for 3 years, and I mentioned in the last video, which was recorded yesterday, the day before this video is being recorded, I mentioned that it wasn't for sale, but later on in that day when, well, after the video was recorded, this car did sell. People came to see it and instantly they bought it. They really liked it. And it was as a first car, and it's a perfect first car really. It's reliable, it's nice, it's a very, very pleasant car. So this is going to be a walk around the car, what it's been like to live with this past 3 years. And yeah, it's going to be very sad to see it go. But yeah, this is a detailed review, I say detailed, who knows, of the Toyota Yaris. Don't forget to follow me on social media at DanielCars05. I'll leave links to everything in the description so you can find it all there at the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe as well, that's very important. So yeah, let's have a walk around first, around the car, discussing the design, because it's quite modern, and I think Toyota did a great job. So here is the car. Sorry about the location, it's just on my driveway. If we would have had it for a longer amount of time, and I would have had longer to record the video, then we would have took it elsewhere to do a bit of a nicer review, a bit more detail. But this is just a quick walk around really. As you can see, it's very, very nice, it's quite cute. People didn't really like the big headlamp design. It's similar to the MR2, the Mark II MR2 I think, not the one with the pop-up headlamps, the one with sort of big lights. A lot of people weren't keen, but I'm one of them people actually really likes it. I think it gives it a lovely face and it gives it some good character. This is the 3-door variant. It's not the top of the range because it's got steelies with little hubcaps. Hasn't got discs all around, it's just discs at the front. Drum brakes at the back. And yeah, it's actually, for a 2004 car, it's in very, very, very good condition. One thing I do really like is the side profile of the car. I think it's nice, and it's sort of like a bubble. It reminds me of a bubble. The rear of the car is also very nice, I think. I don't know, it's not as nice as the Panda, which will feature in another video, but it is still very nice, quite modern for the time it was. So yeah, quite impressed with the car, really. Looks on the outside. The only problem with this specific one is there are some age-related scuffs. You can see one there, and then you can see some bit of damage there, and there are some scratches on the rear of the boot there, and that's because of a bike rack that we put on. But everything else wasn't us. Want to stress that it was the previous owner. But to be honest, for a 16-year-old car, it's super. It's really nice, and the new owner is going to be very, very lucky, because I'm going to really miss this car, and hopefully I'll be able to see it around every now and then. But yeah, it's been fantastic. The only reason it's actually going is because we got that car, forced my parents into getting it. But yeah, it is going to be a massive shame to see it go, but it has to. Right, let's have a look in the interior. Now obviously this is the facelifted model. The Yaris came around 1999 time. This is one of the later ones before the Mark II came out. So it's got more of an updated interior, and it looks very, very nice. You can see it's got the proper chrome badge on the steering wheel, a bit more modern. It hasn't actually got a cassette player, it's got a CD player, unlike some of the older ones. Something really interesting that catches everybody out as soon as they get into this car, put the ignition on, is the tunnel vision. And that is there, so when you're driving along, you can look at the speedo and then look back up at the road, and your eyes don't have to readjust. And I think that is a fantastic feature, especially on for a car that as basic as this. This was, I think, one of the smallest cars Toyota made back in 2004, and still is today, apart from the Aygo and maybe the IQ. The IQ is not so good, it's not my cup of tea. The Aygo is good, it's built the same platform as the Citigo and the Up. So it's very impressive. This has got the optional gear knob, I think it's the Sport one, and this is a 5-speed car. I think 5-speed was the only option. But yeah, it's quite nice little gearbox. It does the job really, it's quite nice, quite smooth. Mechanical handbrake, obviously. There are no electronics in this car. Let me just sit down, shut the door. For a tall person, this car is very good. We know that from experience. My dad, who was the main driver of this car, is very tall. He's 6'5". Let me just go back. Oh, this is all the way back. He's 6'5", and he's had no problem. He's actually really quite happy with the space of the car, and it's a very nice place to be. This is a 3-door obviously, so the doors are quite big, so it's easy to get in and out. It is a 5-seater, which is quite surprising. I will force myself in the back later on in the video. I don't like being in the back really. I am around 5'10", around that mark anyway. But it can be done, really. We've had 5 people in the car, 5 people and a load of shopping, and it's worked fine. Bit slower, but it does the job. While we're sort of on the topic of being slower and faster and stuff like that, this is the 1 litre engine, but it is no slouch. It's a 1 litre VVT-i engine, which is variable valve timing engine. It's Japanese made, which means it's going to be very, very good. And I think it's around 65 to 70 horsepower. So that may not sound very impressive, but actually it's very, very good. I've driven this car, and you put the throttle in, and it performs quite well for the car it is. The Japanese really got the most out of this engine, unlike some other car makers that maybe didn't get as much power. But it's actually very, very good. Economically, it's very good as well. The MPG that's going to show in here is a bit irrelevant. It says 44.3, but that is mainly because the engine has been on to try and keep it running and the battery in optimum condition, but it hasn't actually been for a proper drive, so it's been a bit dodgy on fuel. But trust me, when you're using it normally going around town, it does go close to 50, and if you have a very light foot, like my dad, then you will get 50 quite easily. So it's very economical, and you really find yourself not filling up with fuel that often. This car won't be filling up with fuel because it's literally, I don't know if you can see that if I zoom, it's got no fuel. Something that's quite impressive as well, this car's only done 61,000 miles, which is nothing for a 16-year-old car. We bought it on 49,000 miles 3 years ago, so we've done around, 12,000 miles, something like that, in the space of 3 years. But it's only been a runabout. We've had the Renault Scenic as the main car, and then we got that back in March, the Pan 100 HP, as a replacement, and it was a bit accidental, really, how we bought it. We just fell in love, maybe too quickly, but I'm not going to complain because it is a fantastic car. And if it wasn't for that car, we'd still have this, and I'll probably end up with it when I'm 17. But yeah, it is fantastic. Let's go back to the engine, and I'll show you the engine, and then we'll come back to the interior. It's a bit dodgy, isn't it? And then I'll sit in the back. So here is the engine, VVT-i, as I said earlier, 1 litre, no turbo or anything like that, quite simple. And it's been absolutely fantastic. We've had no engine issues whatsoever. I believe we fitted new spark plugs, but that's just, again, because of age. But it uses 0 oil. It's literally just, it doesn't use any. It's such a economical engine, and it just really works. It's the optimum power you really need if you're running around town. Along motorways, it is a bit more stressed, but you'd expect that for any car of this size. It doesn't use bonnet struts or anything like that, gas struts. It is literally just basic, but then again, it was quite cheap when it came out. I don't know the actual figure. I think it's going to be around 8 grand or something like that, maybe less. Again, this isn't the top spec, so it will be actually less. It's fantastic, really. I don't know what I can say. It's very reliable. So anybody that wants to buy one of these Yarises or anything Japanese with a similar engine, it just will work. Just check. And obviously this is a very low mileage one, so it's going to be fantastic, whatever happens. What I'll do is I'll place the phone down now, and we'll start it, and we can see what the engine actually sounds like. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the engine, see what it sounds like. I've got a microphone attached onto my t-shirt, so I'm going to start the car, and then I'll sort of put my chest in the engine so you can actually hear what it sounds like. It's more complicated than it needs to be. But yeah, it's all very technical, this YouTube channel. Let's check if it's in neutral. Is it neutral? There it is then. It's a very nice runner. This engine hasn't been ran all day, so it is running on the choke. Apologies about the wires. It's running very nicely. Don't know if you can see me. Should we try a horn check? Let's do that. Very nice. It's a 1 litre engine for you, Japanese. Very, very reliable. Another thing about having such a small engine and it being so well put together is that it's very easy to drive. Somebody like me who doesn't actually have a driving licence, whenever I get to go on a private road, I do drive the car as much as I can, sort of get a feel of what it's like, so I can actually talk about it like I am today. So I've actually driven this multiple times along private roads, got to stress that. And it's very, very easy to drive. The clutch is very light, throttle's nice. It's very nice. The only problem is there's a bit of a creaky clutch, but it makes no difference mechanically to the car whatsoever. We've just lived with that the past 3 years. But it's such an easy car to drive. I can drive it no problem. I haven't stalled this car in ages, which is an achievement. It's not like that car. Very heavy clutch, very responsive, and it's more challenging to drive. It can be done, obviously, I can do it. I'm not that stupid. But this car is a lot easier to drive, so it'll be a massive shame to see it go. I can't stress that enough. It's not a preferred choice to sell it. I wish we could have kept it as a third car for whenever we might need it, but we've just got no need for it. That's the problem. It's been stood still the past few months, and it's a massive shame. I really hope the new owner likes it. What I'm doing now is just waiting for the car to actually warm up a bit. So let's put the window up. It's electronic. Obviously they can't move the windows at the back. It is electronic though. Just waiting for the car to warm up so the RPM goes down a bit and you can actually hear the engine when it's a bit quieter. The bonnet's still up. And I'll show you the exhaust as well. This car has had a new exhaust system because the other one was rusted and had holes in it. Not the car's fault. It's just you get that with pretty much every car when they get to about 16-year-old. We had it really bad on one of our old Ford cars, which was actually about 6 months newer, but that was just rotted to hell. But yeah, it's a very, very nice car. We'll wait for the engine to warm up a bit and then I'll report back to you. It's now had a chance to warm up a bit, so it is a lot quieter. It's a very, very smooth runner. Let's put the bonnet down. You can hear actually how quiet it is with the bonnet down, because that will make a difference. Again, just very mechanical. It's the same on the Panda. There we go. It's virtually silent. I'll show you the exhaust as well. I'll pick up the camera. The exhaust system, the entire exhaust system, is brand new. Let's try and bend down. There we go. Complete new back box, complete new pipe. It is very nice. For rust, it's actually all right. The rear beam, there is some surface rust. And then this was a MOT failure, actually. There was rust on this sill here, but it's on the jacking point, only on this side and only there on the jacking point, because that's what happens when you put a jack on the actual on the sill. And you don't do it properly, it will, start to corrode, and that's what's happened. But what we've done is we've proofed it as much as we can, so it is very nice. Let's try and get the phone under the car. Can you see the new exhaust and everything? Probably see it better on the other side, to be honest. Let's go over there. You can see it much better. Soaking wet floor because this car has had a wash. You see that? I don't know. Didn't sign up for going underneath the car when I decided to do a bit more YouTube. But there we go. It's a very, very clean runner. Now, I promise this. I'm going to try and attempt to get into the back. So let me flip the camera around. Right, let's try and attempt to get in the back. It's quite easy. Don't know if you can see this. Let's go. Whoa. Well, this is the driver's seat, so you have to actually slide it forward manually. Try and do this one-handed. There we go. The other one does actually slide back automatically. So, in the back of the car, let me shut the door. A very glamorous view of me, I'm sure. Right, in the back. It's quite nice. In fact, let's go on the other side, on the passenger side, because the passenger seat is where I'd normally have it and where the average person would normally have it. So you get an idea for leg room and stuff like that. Headroom, right, I don't know, I'm not the tallest of people. I'm half Dutch, so I'm a bit tall, but I'm only 14, so I'm not, fully grown or anything like that. But it's challenging. It's not as bad as the Panda because of the high roof line. But obviously, it's a three-door as well, so you feel a bit more trapped. In the back of the car, it's not as nice, I will admit. Leg room, you struggle for leg. Ignore the Haynes manual, not sponsored. But it's all right, to be honest. The seat's quite far back, to be honest. But if you slide that forward, you can sort of live with leg room, but you wouldn't want to go far in the back of this car. And if you're taller than me, you won't want to be in it at all, because you'll be touching the roof slightly, and there's, not even an inch, I don't think, above my head, and I'm not even that tall. You can, this is a very good feature actually, you can slide this rear bench, and it is a bench, forwards and backwards, which means you can either have a bigger or smaller boot, which I'll come on to. So this is slide all the way backwards and you can go forward. And then you've got virtually no leg room whatsoever. But it means you've got quite a big boot, and the boot is actually quite impressive for a car of this size. More impressive than the Aygo. So yeah, let's try and get out of here now, because I feel like I'm in a cocoon. There we go. Crawling out. Right. Let's see the boot. Unfortunately, the boot is very cheap. It's very cheaply made, you can tell. You hear this? Yeah, you do that and it opens. It does open with the central locking. This is with the seat slided all the way back. You have got quite a lot of room. Let me put my hand down for scale. You have got quite a lot of room. Slide the seats forward with this thing here. It's easy to do one-handed as well. And you're left with a much bigger boot. hand down for scale. It does also come with a spare tyre, spare wheel. I've used it before. So yeah, it's very, very good. Boot, I'll do that again later. But yeah, the boot is actually quite acceptable. Lovely noise. It's acceptable, really. That's how I'll describe it. The rear bench, you can actually slide the seats. So you can fold the seats individually. So if you want to put like skis in it or something, I don't know why you would, but you can. These fold down as a two, and then that one folds down separately. So you do this. It's impossible to do one-handed, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Can I put the camera out down while I do this? There we go, pick up the camera, done it now. And then if you haven't got the seatbelt on the parcel shelf, that will slide all the way down. And it means you can fit a lot more in the car, so it's actually very, very good. And this seat comes down as well. I'm not going to do it because it's a faff, but it's there if you want it to be. Here as well to maximise more space. There's no airbags because are you silly? It's 2004. It's got some cup holders, a bit cheaply made, but you don't care. It's in the back of a very budget car. One thing I've actually just noticed, this as we're about to get rid of it. It's got a seatbelt holder. It's got a seatbelt holder. I automatically don't want to get rid of this car ever. I didn't actually know that, and I wish I did. There's one on this side too. Oh, I didn't know that. Well done to Toyota. Well done for Toyota for making such a fantastic car all around, really. It's really good. It's all right in the back, to be honest. Nice interior as well. This is the Yaris 1 litre VVT-i Blue, which means it's grey blue, as you can see from the paint. Toyota call it greyish blue. And the interior is nice and blue as well, so it's actually respectful interior. Let's put the seat back now and focus on the front again. In fact, let's go to the passenger side, because that's interesting. We haven't actually been around there yet. The engine is still running, but that doesn't matter, because it needs to warm up. So, massive doors, it's a 3-door, lean out on the car. You get in, and it's actually very, very nice. I've got to say, it's very nice. You've got a double glove box here, one that comes down, it's got still with the manual in it, it's bulbs, and one that comes up, which I always love. I love how it feels, and it's quite mechanical, it's nice. It's got a passenger airbag, it's got curtain airbags, I think. No, it doesn't. But it does have airbags in the seat, so you can see airbag there. And one thing I forgot to mention is it does have 2 ISOFIX points at the back, even though it's a 5-seater. But yeah, it's actually very, very good. I do actually want to hear the indicator noises, because that's something I know people like. So, there we go, with the tunnel vision. Should do a wiper test as well. There we go. Now, if you watch a YouTube channel called Hubnut, then you'll know about something called the Triangle of Doom. And that is basically when you do that, there's a Triangle of Doom here, and then water drips down. It's quite depressing. There is actually no Triangle of Doom to talk about here. There is a corner of disappointment, as Ian from Hubnut says. I'm not going to claim that phrase because I'll get told off. There is a corner of disappointment, but it is on the passenger side, and you get that on every single car. So really, the windscreen wipers are very, very good. These are Bosch ones, Bosch blades. But yeah, it's really good. And it has actually got a, that's me, a reverse wiper as well. I don't know about the, I spent ages trying to find the rear windscreen washer, but I just can't find it anywhere. But it has got one by the Think Bike sticker. All the wipers are going crazy. But there we go. It's very, very nice, and it's just such a lovely car. No aircon, obviously, because it just wasn't around. But it does have a blower, heater, and fan, and it's got all the stuff you need. Has got a radio, no aux or anything, but I'm sure you could fit it. It says tape CD here, that's funny. It doesn't have a tape player though. So you've got AM, FM, you've got your CD, and you've got your trip. So you can scroll through the trip here. Range 9 miles, it's gone down a lot. But yeah, there we go. Nice little system. Speakers there, small speaker there, small speaker there. That is it. There is no speakers in the back, but it's actually quite good. I would play music, but I can't because I'll get told off for copyright. Another little practical thing that links with the dashboard here is it has got an under passenger tray. So you can fit whatever you want. It's a bit dirty actually, I don't know what's in it. But it is a bit dirty. But you can fit, you know, your own owner's manuals and stuff like that, like the Haynes manual, which is there. But yeah, it's a very, very nice car. I'm trying to think anything that I've missed. from this little review, which is not very little. I've been rambling on for quite a while. Let me just cut and have a think, because I know when I stop this video I'll probably remember something. So let's do a cut here. Now, I'm sure you're all on your knees begging for me to rev this car slightly, not too much because I'm responsible. So I'm going to keep the camera in here, and I'm going to take off my mic, and I'm going to put it behind the car so you can actually hear the exhaust. It's quite clever of me. I do like having external mics. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to hear the car a bit more. I'll put it by the exhaust, which is new, and more upgraded as well. Not in terms of raw, but in terms of quality. Not like that car, which is custom and loud. But yeah, I'll just give me a minute and I'll put the mic at the back and I'll put the camera in front so you won't be able to hear me, you'll just be able to hear the car, which is probably a relief. So there we are then, conclusion on the Toyota Yaris, 1 litre, 2004, we've had it for 3 years and it's been absolutely fantastic. Just some age related stuff that we've had to sort out, but now I'll actually all sort it out. So the new owner of this car is going to be blessed to own this car. It's going to be a massive shame to see it go. This car's called Timmy, by the way, I forgot to mention, Timmy the Toyota, and that's Paolo the Panda, and then should be Sally the Scenic. So yeah, it's going to be a shame to see Timmy go, but you know, money doesn't grow on trees and you can't just keep cars, and it'd be a shame to keep it as well because it just wouldn't get used. So I'm glad it is going to get used as a first car as well, which I think is rather nice. So let me just hop in the interior and we'll just round this video off. And this is probably the last time this car will be featured on the channel, and well, me being in it properly and having a proper walk around, because I think we're going to deliver it to them later on. And we had a massive faff last night with the V5 documents, but hopefully it will be sorted. I've just reminded myself I need to do something. But yeah, that is the video. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you want a Mark 1 Toyota Yaris, then get one, is all I'm going to say, because they're fantastic and they never ever let you down. And they're just nice. They're very nice cars, and they handle well as well. It's got power steering and everything, and it's very pleasant. Very, very, very pleasant indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for watching. There we go. I can spit my words out. Follow me on social media at DanielCars05, and remember to give this video a thumbs up. Share it with all your Toyota fans. Subscribe to the channel, and yeah, goodbye from me and goodbye from Timmy. Thank you for watching.